As the old saying goes, offense wins games, but defense wins championships. In this video, you're going to learn the 4 mistakes a lot of Madden players make on defense that will totally put you at a disadvantage. And all these mistakes are easily fixed. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, class is now in session.
Jets coming. Carr puts some air under it. Wide open is Rex for the touchdown. Just incredible. This is simple. You're going to stutter it, and then you're going to go. And Lamar Jackson, he just stops his feet. And that's just situational awareness. You know, look, Henry Ruggs runs forward.
The key to every game is not who can score on every possession, but who can stop their opponent from scoring on every possession. I say that because if you can't stop your opponent from scoring on every possession, it just puts added pressure on you to score on every possession to keep up with no mistakes, and then it may come down to who has the ball last to actually win the game. However, if you can stop your opponent on a regular basis, that will then give your offense a chance to play free. You can play the field position game, and you don't have to feel like you need to take unnecessary chances. So in this video, we're going to talk about the 4 mistakes most Madden players make on defense, and all of these mistakes can be easily fixable. The first mistake I see when people are playing defense is not understanding defensive formations and personnel within those formations. This may sound like a simple concept. However, I see far too often, if I'm in a 2 tight end set on offense, guys come out in a dime formation with 6 DBs on the field, giving me all the opportunity to run the ball easily. Conversely, if I come out in a 4 wide receiver set, I still see a lot of people staying in their base defense, and just because they're playing zone, it still gives them the disadvantage because they don't have the same athletes on the field as I do with my 4 wide receivers. So first things first, on defense, you want to get yourself in the right formation and match personnel. Of course, there are a few exceptions to the rule, but we'll go over that at another time. So before I go into detail on personnel and formations, let's go over the basics. There are 3 position groups on your defense: defensive line, linebackers, and defensive backs. Here's a little rule that I follow. I always want the same amount of cornerbacks to match up with their wide receivers, and then 2 additional safeties. Now, of course, there's always exceptions to the rule. When you're on defense, if you look right here, Madden will always tell you what personnel the other team is coming out with, so you can match up accordingly. Next, if you go back to your defense and you click here to formation, and you can pick the correct formation based off their personnel. Now, if you look here, you'll see the different numbers and the different formation names. The first number stands for how many defensive linemen are on the field, the second number stands for the linebackers, and the third number stands for how many defensive backs are on the field. If it doesn't have a third number, then you can automatically assume that there are 4 defensive backs on the field. So basically, if I look here and I see 1-1-3, basically 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide receivers in the lineup, then I'm going to start off with some type of nickel formation that has 5 defensive backs to match up with their 3 wide receivers. And there are variations of nickel that we'll go over in another video, but just know nickel has 5 defensive backs, dime has 6 defensive backs, and then the quarter defense have 7 defensive backs. In this video, I basically want to make sure that you get yourself in the initial right formation to start on the field. The second mistake that I see most Madden players make is not understanding zone coverages and what they're supposed to defend. There are basically 3 zone coverage schemes that I want you to pay close attention to at first. Yes, there's more zone cover schemes to choose from, but these 3 are the basic ones. The other zone cover schemes are a lot more complicated, and we'll go over those in another video. The 3 coverage schemes are cover 2, cover 3, and cover 4. Now let's go over each cover scheme in more detail. So the first one is cover two. Cover two is a zone defense with 5 defenders playing underneath and then the 2 safeties over the top. This is basically the defense that the Buccaneers played against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. This coverage is good for people who like to run short and intermediate routes, such as drag routes, crossing routes, and quick outs. Cover 2 is also good for people who like to run curl comeback and flat routes to the tight end and running back. Now, the holes in the cover 2 are the deep corner routes between the cornerback and the safety, and up the deep middle of the field between the hash marks in between the safeties. So the cover 2 is really good to stop a lot of short plays. So if you know your opponent likes to kind of go short, dump off to the back, to the tight end, and drag routes, the cover 2 is perfect for that. Next, we're going to go over cover 3. Cover 3 is a zone defense with cornerbacks and free safeties defend the deep third area of the field. Also in cover 3, it will take away deep throws and effectively defend the run. Specifically, cover 3 works well against deep out passes, deep crossers, and deep sideline throws and deep post throws. The holes in the cover 3 defense are the deep seam routes in between the hash mark and the numbers and behind the linebackers. The other hole is underneath the linebackers. The goal for the linebackers is to keep everything in front of them. So if you have an opponent who likes to run the ball and then mix in the play action to throw deep over your head, the cover 3 is a good defense to mix in. Last we have is the cover 4 defense. Cover 4 is a zone defense with 4 defenders playing the deep quarter zones and 3 or 4 defenders playing underneath. It's great at defending deep throws and outside runs. The cover 4 also is great against defending deep seam routes, deep corner routes, and go routes. The goal for the cover 4 is to keep everything in front of them on clear passing situations. The cover 4 will concede drag routes, flats, short middle, and easy throws to the running back out the backfield. The third mistake that most Madden players make on defense is not knowing how or when to blitz. The blitz shouldn't be your main defensive scheme. If I know you're going to blitz, then I can attack it. That goes for every defense. If your opponent knows exactly what you're going to do because you call the same play all the time, they will know easily how to attack your defense. Mixing in the blitz is great to keep your opponents off balance, and it brings timely pressure to their quarterback. Even if you don't get the sack, you could cause bad throws, throwaways, and eventually turnovers. Here is where most players make their mistake. They think they have to bring more people than you have to block. That's okay in some cases, but if I have max protection on, which is usually 7 or 8 people in the block, and you blitz 9 people just to get someone free, that will leave your cornerbacks on a one-on-one island trying to cover the whole field by themselves. Now that may work once or twice, but that is a high risk, low reward type of defense and you will get burnt a lot. The best way to blitz is to bring more than they can block on just one side of the O-line and play coverage on the other side. Preferably choose the side of the throwing hand of the quarterback, therefore they can roll out to the opposite side, making it more difficult to throw if they are running away from the blitz. Now of course you want to mix that up, but most part you want to come on their throwing side. The best time to blitz is on 3rd and long and obvious passing downs, like in a 2-minute situation. This leads me to number 4. Not understanding situational football. Knowing when to play zone, knowing when to blitz, knowing the right personnel is all based on understanding situational football. For example, if it's 3rd and 10 or more, regardless of how many wide receivers that the offense play on the field, you know it's a passing down, so you still want to put more DBs on the field to guard the pass. So in this instance, if they only have 2 wide receivers on the field, you can still put 5 or 6 defensive backs on the field to guard the pass. Even if they still run the ball, chances are they're not going to pick up the first down with the run. They will get some yards, but they should be able to tackle them before they get to 10 yards or the first down marker. Another situation could be if you're inside the 10-yard line and the offense comes out in 4 wide receiver set, you may want to call a formation that might have more linebackers on the field and play a zone coverage. Because you are inside the 10-yard line, the zone will cover up a lot more holes, and you can still guard for the run if they try to spread you out and run the ball up the middle. Also, if you're up by a touchdown and the other team needs to go the length of the field, this might not be the time to come with an all-out blitz, giving them the chance to score in one play, or it could look something like this.
Jets coming. Carr puts some air under it. Wide open is Ruggs for the touchdown. Miraculous. No, he didn't.
Basically, situational football is mostly common sense. It's okay to play conservatively on defense when you're winning. Making your opponent run more plays and waste more time is a good thing. So in this situation, you will run cover 4 defense if you're winning by more than 7 points, making your opponent throw short passes and rallying to the ball to make the tackle is exactly how you want to play that situation. In these specific situations, if you want to mix in a blitz every now and then to switch up your coverages, you may want to make sure you have coverage on the back's end and not send out an all-out blitz. So, just like we talked about, sending a blitz to one side of the ball and having more coverage on the back end so you can get a linebacker or a defensive lineman free to make the sack or cause a turnover. So in conclusion, if you avoid these 4 mistakes, knowing the right formations and personnel to use when matching up with your opponent, knowing how to utilize different zone coverages, knowing when to and when not to blitz, and understanding situational football will put yourself in position to be in every single game at the end. So if you liked this video and found it helpful, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and also hit the bell notification icon, and I will greatly appreciate your support. We will see you in the next video. Class dismissed.